everyone. Welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 239, recorded on October 26, 2021. My name is Steve, and of course, I am here with Barry. Hey, Barry, how's it going?
Hey, Steve, always a pleasure. It's been a while. It's been a couple weeks.
It has been. We had an extra week. So if you were sitting around wondering why there wasn't a podcast dropping in your subscription box, either on YouTube or your favorite podcast app, we had an extra week. Sorry about that. Traveling and the like of the last couple weeks. And people are already noticing in the chat room that Greg is missing again. Yes, I promise he's still alive. He's still around. We have not lost Greg. He just had some other things going on. And so you just got Barry and I here tonight. So we apologize that
We'll
there's no
we'll do
Greg.
the best to
Yes,
fill in the Greg-shaped void in this episode,
that's right.
but we
That's
do
right.
miss him.
Yes. But there is not. It's not just Barry and me. We've already mentioned the live chat. So if you have not joined in the live chat as we record these things, you are kind of the collective other person on our team. So thank you guys so much for jumping in there. We've got several people in the chat already that's going live on YouTube and Twitch. So if you're not following us on YouTube or Twitch, be sure to do that, and you'll be alerted every time we go live and every time we post videos and all that stuff. So anything that we talk about live right here on the recording, be sure to throw your comments and your thoughts and everything. We'll refer to the chat as much as we can throughout the recording. But yeah, that's a great way to just kind of get your thoughts out there and let us know what you are playing and all that stuff. The other way to interact with us is on our social media. You can do that on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are at NintendoFuse. And of course, you can also join our Discord. The link is on the screen and also in the show notes, the YouTube description. I believe it's on the Twitch description as well. And we'd love to just have you jump in and join in on the conversations about games in between episodes. And, there's breaking news, events, things like that happening. One of the things that we're going to be talking about on this episode is the Animal Crossing Direct. And there was a lot of conversation around that Animal Crossing Direct when it was happening. So make sure you head over to our Discord if you have not done so yet. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all the beginning stuff out of the way. Barry, let's talk about what we have been playing. I know there's one big game that we're going to be talking about tonight. We've both been playing some Metroid Dread. Some of you guys got a little teaser because I hit the wrong button when we were going live tonight, so you saw a little bit of that. We are going to be talking about that game in length tonight as our game chat segment. But what else have you been playing, Barry?
Yeah, so on the Switch, I did go back to Animal Crossing and messed around with that a little more than usual, getting ready for the big update. Direct kind of kicked me a little into gear, and so it was fun just experiencing that. Of course, I had roaches in my house because even when I would go in and do the daily stuff, I just never went into the house. So I had all these roaches. Yay!
Yay for
Uh,
roaches.
of course, Metroid Dread, which we will be talking about. Some Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, and I did the story mode in that, which is Monkey Ball 2's story, and I forgot just how infuriating some of those levels are. And I did Monkey Ball 1, the first two levels, the beginner, which they now call, I think, casual, but it's a beginner and advanced. And those are tough, especially advanced, but it definitely has a different control. And then I did some monkey bowling with my wife, which that was a lot of fun. But when we tried Monkey Target, which is Monkey Ball 2's Target, which is not my favorite. I preferred the first games, but it controls like the worst. Like you have to hold back on the analog stick at just the right angle to float. Otherwise, gravity just works like 150%, and you just go right down to the ocean. You never even get to the targets. It's not just like an isolated problem. A lot of people have been complaining about it, and that sucks because that was my favorite Monkey Ball minigame, and they ruined it. So not really happy about that. But the game itself is fun. Just been enjoying playing through and just re-experiencing it. That's probably one of the few games that you'll ever hear me push myself and challenge myself to beat levels because going back to my college days when I used to be, doing that. Now I just don't have time, but a little nostalgia, I went with
Oh,
it.
the college days filled with Monkey Ball
Mm,
and Smash Brothers all the time.
yep. Yeah, exactly. That's why Monkey Target was such a big thing for us. So to lose it was kind of sorry and sad. And hopefully they fix it. A good patch, I'll be happy. Played some Golf Club Wasteland, which is a golfing game, but it's only a golfing game in the sense that you play like 2D, uh, like mini golf kind of deal. The golf doesn't really carry your strokes. It's more about just getting the ball in the hole. But it's a very atmospheric game because the story is, humans have gone to Mars and not everybody survived, so it's just a few people on Mars. And you, as a lone astronaut, went back to ruined Earth to play golf in your meantime. And the whole game is it's all the audio is all a radio station on Mars with people calling in telling stories about what it was like on Earth and playing this the music that was like sets the mood and kind of like the songs talking about the destruction of Earth, and they're all original stuff. Super atmospheric. Like in terms of like, I would just put the game on and listen to the radio station. Like it's really
Hmm.
well done. Like Grand Theft Auto style. You get in the car and just listen to the radio stations. It's
Is
like
it
that.
is it realistic or is it more cartoony or like?
It's kind of like cartoony graphics, but it's very simplistic golf controls, and it's like wacky levels. Like you have to like go into pipes and break through windows, and like you hit the ball up like fire escapes and stuff like that. And if you enjoy golf, you would probably really enjoy this. I'm not a big fan of golf, but I did play it. I bet about 50% of the game in the story mode, and the atmosphere is what got me. Like I kept going for more holes just because. Oh well, they're having a cool caller on. I might as well do this while I'm listening to the radio.
Nice.
Um, so I did that. Played through a game called Phenotopia Awakening, which is a 2D Zelda 2 style game with a bunch of exploration and item equipment and upgrades. Very challenging, a lot of fun. Cool 8-bit style with a lot of pastel colors. Just a blast to play. Uh, Pokemon Unite, I'm still playing, although I'm starting to lose my wife on it. Like not in the way like she's absorbed into it, and the fact that she's starting to fall away. And that's mainly because whenever you play any game, and I'm sure you've experienced this with Rocket League, whenever you play any game with other people, you find that not everybody is of the same caliber. And when you play with a team full of idiots, it really drags the game down,
Yep.
and especially when like you have those people that go out and then they get killed, and then they want to just like, I'm not moving and I just want to forfeit, and it's like, well, thanks, you're now going to make me de-level my rank
Hmm.
because you don't know how to play the game and you're crying. I hate that, and I really hate it. And the block list, there's a limit, so you can only block so many people. And I have no idea how, if the reports do anything, but there's a lot of people that just they don't know how to play. And since there's no voice chat, you can't help and educate people on how to play. And then you have
That's a good way of putting it. Help and educate. Really, just when
yeah.
you can't yell at them.
Yeah, you can't yell at them. And apparently, like, I haven't done it, but my wife's been on like the subreddits, and a lot of people now, their strategy is they're taking pride in stealing stuff. So like they'll wait and they'll steal like Rotom or Zapdos like at the last second. Like that's what they're doing, and they're taking like pride in it, and that's become like the culture,
Mm.
which is really disheartening when you do like all the work and then you lose it suddenly. So eventually that does take its toll. They are doing like a Halloween event now, which is really cool, but I'm still enjoying it despite losing because I'm not a sore loser. Although I definitely, if I could yell at people, oh man, I would probably get banned. Because I've had some choice words in my living room for some players. But my wife is sometimes a sore loser. So I'm trying to keep her interested because I do enjoy playing, something with her.
Hmm.
It's kind of like just a fun thing to do together when we're not getting aggravated. Went back to Smash Brothers Ultimate because Sora dropped, so I got him, and I finally got all the spirits. They were the ones in the shop are being a real pain, and they're the Metroid Dread spirits as well for a spirit event. So I did that. and yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know if there's going to be any new spirits, but it's kind of like surreal. Like, is this the last time there'll be new stuff to do in Smash Brothers?
Hmm.
But I enjoyed Sora. Sora was fun. It's just I'm not terribly a fan of his stage, only because like the camera going all over like Hollow Bastion is starting to make me dizzy because I'm like trying to focus on the fight, but I'm also trying to look at the background, and it's like making me a little dizzy.
Hmm.
And then dropped last night the Nintendo 64 and the Genesis, which we will be talking about more later. But I booted them both up. I played a little Mario Tennis. I haven't played N64 Mario Tennis since probably around 2000 or so when it came out, and I loved that game. So it was fun to play that again. And on the Genesis, I played some Musha, which is a game I haven't played, and it's very expensive, and it's so far a far better shooter than the one that we just recently reviewed, Crisis Wing.
That's
So
good. That's
that's
good.
that's there. So I did have fun with it. Of course, I was playing with the Pro Controller. My N64, my Genesis controllers have shipped. They have not arrived yet, so just playing with the Pro Controller. On the PC side, getting more back into 14 more. I've been playing it casually, but like recently I actually started to like I'm going to spend a couple hours and really work on some stuff as Endwalker approaches, because that is a month away, and I know that will like when that comes out, it'll be like, what did you play, Endwalker? Like I'll be a really short time for me in this segment, but it's great to just get back into 14. Like on a more heavier basis. I know a lot of people have been playing, a lot of people have been catching up, and when you've already done virtually everything, it's slower. It's like there's less pulling in, but the hype's starting to get there. So I've been really having fun with 14 and getting back into it. And I do have some stuff I do want to accomplish. I hope I can accomplish before Endwalker. And on the mobile front, Dragalia Lost still has me. It's still going on with the third anniversary, and I'm still playing Mario Kart Tour. These damn tournaments just keep pulling me in.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I've been playing some Rocket League, of course, and not as much as I usually do because a little Metroid game has got a lot of my time over the last few weeks, and then played some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as well. We had some friends over that they were really wanting to have a Mario Kart night, and so we played some Mario Kart, and that was fun to get back into it a little bit. And I don't think I've lost my touch. That was good. I lost the first round, but after 4 races under my belt, I was winning again, so that was good. And yeah, just I forget, like, just Mario Kart, just so much fun. And I love how much that they've put into like that game. There's so much there. It's kind of like the ultimate version of it. And then with that, those friends, we also played some Jackbox games. Unfortunately, right before the new one came out, so we just played the old ones. But that was fun. And played a game called Trios. And it's how do I describe it? It's a math game with some cool like lo-fi beats. That's what that game is all about. So it's incredibly casual. The idea is that you get this number at the top of your screen, and you get a bunch of bubbles that you have to pick the numbers and the multipliers or division or adding or subtracting or whatever, and you just put them all in the right order, and you move on to the next stage, and you just do this over and over and over again. And it's cool, fun music in the back that's totally just relaxing and chill. And if you like math or you want to challenge yourself to do that kind of a thing with some just really cool, chill music in the background, you may want to check it out. If you're not a fan of math, you're probably not going to enjoy it. But if you want to like challenge your brain a little bit, it's got really good music for it. So I think that's really the selling point of the game is the lo-fi beats for it. And then yeah, played some Metroid Dread, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. I'm going to go to. Oh, and yeah, we'll talk about this as well. We talk about the expansion pass and everything too. But I booted up N64 and Sega Genesis just to check it out. But I at that point I was too tired to actually play any of the games. I was just like, oh, this is cool, and I moved on and went to bed eventually. But that's and I'll get into why later of why that happened that way. But yeah. Let's see. Let's go to the chat room. It looks like Jakester's been playing Fire Emblem Three Houses and finished Golden Deer Run on and Nino Kuni. And Kevin was saying that he loves Golf Story, so he thinks he's gonna like that the golf game you were talking about, Golf Club Wasteland. And
Maybe.
yeah, maybe enjoy that. I felt the same way with what's it called, the What the Golf game.
Hmm.
That was, I mean, it has nothing to do with like what you were talking about with that game, but I felt the same way. I was like, I was sucked in. I was like, okay, I can just do one more. I can just do one more. I was like, the next thing I know, I was playing for another hour. So all right. Well,
That's true.
I think that's it for our games we've been playing. Let's move into this. Before Jared snuck in there, Jared has been playing Smash, Pokemon Go, Mario Kart Tour, and Mario Run. Awesome. So, all right. Well, let's move into the game chat for this episode.
Yes, that's right. We're going to be talking a little bit of Metroid Dread. For those of you who don't know, Metroid Dread did come out October 8th, 2021, and it was developed by Mercury Steam, published by Nintendo, and is the fifth official game in the canonical storyline for the main Metroid storyline, picking up 19 years after Fusion came out. And this is a 2D Metroid game where you play once again as Samus Aran, as you have to escape another planet and figure out what's going on with the Emmy robots that have stopped responding, and the possible X-Parasite from the Fusion game is back, and a lot of mysteries surviving this. So, Steve, let's go with you. What is your experience? What'd you do?
Yeah, it's funny actually. Jake Steer mentioned this in the chat room. He was watching me play this live. So the first like several hours of the game, I decided to just boot up Twitch and went live with it, and just to see like maybe people might watch me play. And yeah, it's been very fun, but also frustrating at times. But at the same time, like I mean, if you've played Metroid games before, that's the I feel like that's the normal thing for a Metroid game. It is very fun, but frustrating at times, and so that's my summary of my experience. It really is fun, but frustrated at times. But yeah, I feel like it's been a blast to play. I think they did a really good job of creating this really cool 2D HD experience there. I think it looks great. It has a similar old school kind of feeling, but modern. And yeah, it's an intriguing storyline as well. There's always like this type. When I played Metroid games in the past, I'm like kind of into the story, but not really. I just want to like conquer the next stage and beat the game and that sort of thing. But this one did a really good job of drawing me into the story a little more. But they didn't overdo it. Like that was great. It was like there were cutscenes, but they were short and not like Metroid Other M, which had giant cutscenes, which weren't necessarily bad. But this game definitely focuses more on gameplay. And yeah, I think the frustrating parts for me this time were just you had to be so precise in some of the boss battles, and there'd be frequently where I'd be like, oh my gosh, I know how to beat this guy. I just messed up and it punished me, and it was so frustrating. And so like, but I know how to do it. It's not difficult. You just have to be precise in what you do. But yeah, what'd you think, Barry?
I loved it. I mean, I've always enjoyed the Metroid games, and it's been so long since we really had a new one. Samus Returns, excellent. And once it was announced that Mercury Steam was doing this one as well, I had 100% confidence because I really, really did enjoy Samus Returns. And I'm with you. Like, this goes between this is fun and enjoyable to, oh my God, I had that. What the hell? And what I mean by that is the exploration is great. When you get to the Emmy scenes, sometimes there's some frustration, and definitely the puzzle of defeating the Emmy, because it's not just getting the Omega Cannon to defeat them. It's also figuring out the perfect spot of where you need a certain amount of time to be able to shoot the Emmy to kill it, and that itself is a puzzle because some of the environments that you have to work with, it's like, oh, how do I figure it out? You're going in circles, and it's not like you're scared. It's just trying to figure out, come on, I just need a little more time. It's got to be perfect. And then, of course, some of the boss battles. Some of the boss battles really got me. I tried multiple times. And what's funny is the final boss, like the first time I went after, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try a second time. And then I went the second try, and I didn't do as well. And I'm like, oh, man, is this going to be one of those things? And it was at that point that I said, you know what? Instead of getting frustrated, I'm going to 100% this game. I'm going to go and get everything on the map before I go back to the boss. And I thought that would be nice and calm and relaxing because here you go. It shows you blinks where, hey, there's stuff here. And then I got to the Shine Spark puzzles.
Oh my gosh.
And
Stupid
and for
Shine Spark.
and for those that don't know what that is, as you run when you get the booster, you gain a speed boost. And if you push down, you can hold it for a short amount of time. And then when you push the B button and then you pick a direction, you will Shine Spark blast in that direction. And there are certain blocks that can only be destroyed with that. So the trick is A, finding enough room to run to get your boost, and B, being able to go from that location to where you need to do the Shine Spark to get whatever item. Usually it's just 2 missiles. And when you have like 200 and something, it's like, all right, just another 2, but I have to get 100%. And some of that took me like an hour of just finally perfecting it. And I even tweeted out one of my runs when I finally did it because it's just, some of them are just so annoying, but it was satisfying to get the 100% and then go for the boss. And I think it only took me like two more tries to beat the final boss, and it was very satisfying to get the ending and to, then it's like, oh, there's all these other pictures you can unlock if you do it in hard mode or faster time, and I'm like, I could see those online. I don't need to do that. I've enjoyed the game. I got 100% of the items. I feel I've accomplished it. I definitely got my money's worth. And it's, just an amazing experience overall. Like, very well designed, despite what some people are saying. David Jaffe. The game is very well designed, and it's smart. You could tell Mercury Steam took what they learned from Samus Returns and they applied it here. Steve, how far did you get, or did you also beat it?
I am at the final boss.
Oh,
So
okay, cool.
so that's the reason why I didn't get a chance to check out the N64 and Genesis Online last night because I was traveling last week and decided to and I thought I was going to be able to play like while I'm flying and traveling and everything, and just didn't find the time, and so ended up playing when I came back, and really wanted, the goal was to finish the game before the podcast, and I stayed up really late last night, and I got to the final boss and I go, you know what, I don't have the brain capacity to face this final boss right now because it's probably going to take me several attempts, and I don't want to be up to like 3 or 4 in the
Oh, you
morning.
didn't even try it?
So I didn't even try it. No, but I did find myself. I spent some time to kind of go back and backtracked, and I didn't 100% the game at all. But I did. I got as many of the extra stuff as I could, except for the ones that involved the Shine Spark. So I was like, nope, not even touching those. Like, I got a couple of them, the couple of the ones that are easier, but the ones where you have to run across and shoot up and shoot across, and I was like, nope, that's not even worth my time for like one more bomb or 1 or 2 more missiles. Not even worth my time. But yeah, that's the most frustrating. I think the whole thing, like the bosses are frustrating, but the shine spark is probably I think the most frustrating thing for me because you have to be so precise, and I don't think this is where the analog stick on the Switch just suffers. Like you just can't get that precise movement that you need to be able to hit down at the right point, and then in that moment you only have a brief amount of time to like pull it off, and I'll hit the wrong button and mess it up every time. And so I'm like, oh, what? Like I played this game for like 13 hours, and I keep forgetting that wait, B does that and R does this. It's just muscle memory is not there for some whatever reason. And then there was something else. Oh, the parrying and stuff. Like I don't know why. Like that was there in Samus Returns, right? They
Yes, it
put
was.
that in there. So I didn't play Samus Returns, and so this is my first time experiencing it in a Metroid game. And yeah, it's still the timing of that. It has to be, especially on bosses, it has to be just precise and really precise with the Emmys. And yeah, and that's the thing that gets me almost every time is like I'll be just destroying this boss, and then it comes time for like the finishing blow, and I'll miss the parry and have to start over again. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that one aspect of having the parries in the final boss animations because then you had to like replay a little bit of the boss and I lost like at one point, especially the first time I saw it because I wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh yeah, put the controller down, like yes, and I was like, oh crap, it's
Yep.
like it just and I started to expect it afterwards, but like the first few definitely they got me with that. So I agree there. It's not that I found it hard, except the Emmy. The Emmy was specifically they said it's like 95% of the fail rate or something like that.
Yep.
And I did survive some Emmys, but that's designed to be difficult.
Yep.
You have like a millisecond or whatever to
Right.
to hit it properly. But what I found with the Shine Spark, because as I was trying this, I was obviously getting frustrating, and I noticed one of the big things I did was when I went to Shine Spark, I did the screw attack. I'm like,
Mm.
son of a bitch, I don't want to do a screw attack here. I want to do Shine Spark. And that's when I came up with the foolproof strategy. When I want to Shine Spark, let go of the analog stick, like literally just pull my thumb back and then push and hold B. Because what would happen was when I would push B, I would be pushing just diagonally in one direction, even just a hair,
Mm-hmm.
and the game would register it as a screw attack. And obviously, once you're screwing attack, you can't shine spark until you land, and at that point, it's over. I missed
Right.
my chance. So once I took my thumb off and just hit it, and then once you hold B, then moved the analog stick to whatever direction, I found shine sparking to be 100% easier in that regards
Hmm.
because that was my biggest thing. I just kept screw attacking, and I was like, "Oh no, I don't want to screw attack here. I want
Yeah.
to, I want to shine spark."
Yeah.
So if that a little advice helps
Hmm.
you out,
I'll have
then
to try it.
great. Because that was at least my experience, and I know
Yeah.
other people were like, "Oh, it's no big deal. I could do it, no problem," and
Mm-hmm.
that's great. I'm happy to be able to say I did it, but do know that the Shine Spark puzzles, some of them involve you going to completely different rooms and kind of chaining multiple shine sparks together to get to where you need, and that's where it gets pretty ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And but a fun. I mean, if that's the kind of thing you like figuring out, then great. Absolutely, there's a lot of them in there for you. And do know that if that's something you absolutely hate and you don't care about 100%ing, you don't have to do any of them.
Mm-hmm.
You are perfectly fine and able to beat it. And I believe all of them are for missile upgrades. I don't think any of them are for energy tanks, although I could be wrong. There might be one. Someone's going to be like, "Oh, there's one." I'm like, all right.
I feel like
Um,
there is one or two that are,
not
but yeah.
not hard ones
No.
though.
And that's the thing, like you could actually probably, other than once you get it, you have to do that to get out of the place that you are, like cuz every time you get an upgrade, you have to use that upgrade to get out,
Yeah,
and progress. But pretty much beyond that, I don't even know if you have to use that ability from that point on. So, yeah, if you find it
yeah,
difficult, you can use it very minimally, and you can still progress and still beat the game.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, uh, let's wrap this up, Steve. What is your recommendation from your experience playing this game? Would you recommend this game at $60, or would you say wait for a sale, or how would you put it towards other Metroid games, or your
Yeah.
final thoughts?
I think it's a great game. I don't know who I would. I mean, if you're just not a fan of this kind of a genre at all, then yeah, don't try it. But if you like Metroidvania kind of games, you love adventure, you like platform, you like action, you like the puzzle aspect of those kind of things. If any of those kind of things appeal to you, I'd say yeah, go for this game. I think it's worth the price. It's a shorter game. It's not like Breath of the Wild is going to take you hundreds of hours to beat, but there's still significant amount of gameplay there. I mean, like I said, I think I've poured about 13 or 14 hours into it, and I'm almost at the boss. I'm not 100%, and I'm probably like at maybe like 75% of everything collected. And I know people are able to like fly through it. But if you want to enjoy the game and explore everything, there's still quite a bit of content there. So I'd say yeah, I definitely recommend it.
I'm gonna echo that. I know there's some people big controversy over, oh, is this worth $60? Should this be $40? I think it's well worth $60. Like you, I got about 13 hours into it, getting 100%, and just doing it at my own pace. I went a little slower. I was just enjoying the atmosphere and enjoying the exploration and discovery. But the game does encourage multiple playthroughs with different picture unlocks at the end, based on how fast you beat it. And there is a harder difficulty that will unlock when you beat it the first time. And if you're a speedrunner, this is a dream game. And if you enjoy that challenge, this has plenty of it in spades. So in terms of your overall play experience, depends on how much you want to get out of it. But in terms of Metroid games, I think it's up there. I think it's really up there. I think Mercury's team did a great job. I think it's phenomenal to see 2D Metroid back. I mean, you know, Metroid Fusion was the last new one back in the GBA. We had Zero Mission after that, which was a remake of one, and obviously Samus Returns on the 3DS a couple of years ago. But that was a remake of two. So we haven't had a new one in like 19 years. So it's great to see that again, and especially with Metroid Prime 4 being announced. It's been over 1,000 days since the announcement that they had to start over. We have no idea what the status, the rumored Metroid Prime trilogy. Just to see 2D Metroid come out of nowhere, especially on the 35th anniversary for Metroid, it's great, and it should be celebrated. And I think Mercury's team did a phenomenal job. And if you are interested in Metroid, I highly recommend you give this one a shot.
Yep. Cool. Well, that's uh that's all of our game chat for this episode. And yeah, if you guys have played Metroid, be sure to let us know in the comments. Let us know your thoughts or in the live chat as well. And I think one of the biggest things that I had to free myself of, and Barry, it was something that you told me, I think back when I was playing through Torna. It was like, it's okay to look up and figure out how to get through things.
Yes.
So I had a couple windows on the side, like, all right, how do I get through this area? So I was not afraid to look
Oh,
up some game guides this time.
don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just have fun with it.
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of did make it a little less frustrating, because there's some guides out there that can help you through, for sure. And then it was just the frustratingness of the timing and everything. But I felt so cool when I got the screw attack a little early, and I felt so cool. And then I realized that I really just got it like, I don't know, 10 minutes earlier than I was supposed to. I was like, oh my gosh, I got it. So it's cool. Yeah.
There's a lot of sequence breaking in this game that
Yeah.
people have been able to do, and if you're really skilled, like speedrunners, you can get the screw attack actually early,
Mm,
far earlier than you're supposed to get it. So yeah, you can have some fun with it.
absolutely. Well, let's talk about some news. Last week, well, 2 weeks ago, I guess now, was back on October 15th. We got a little Animal Crossing Direct, and that was pretty exciting. we found out a lot about this update that's going to be coming on November 5th. So, yeah, as we're recording, it's October 26th. So, we're pretty much, what, a week away? Almost a
Yeah,
week away
next week.
from this version 2.0 update. And I'm pretty sure after seeing all these updates, I felt that that is adequate uh, numbering, I guess. This really does feel like a version 2 of Animal Crossing New Horizons. So let me run through quickly all the updates that are coming with version 2. And if you guys have not read about it, somehow you don't know anything about it, you can head over to NintendoFuse.com for a lot more details. I'm going to just run through the highlights real quick, and then we'll discuss about this upcoming update. So Brewster's going to be coming back, opening a cafe in the museum, and that's going to been thought about for a while. We can actually get the cafe in the museum. You can also take a boat trip with Captain. He's going to be able to take you over to some remote islands and get to have a mysterious island encounters and all that sort of thing. So if you're used to Captain from previous games, that's coming back. This whole theme is like bringing back stuff that's been in previous games, along with gyroids. Gyroids are finally coming to New Horizons, and so you can dig them up and actually customize them and all that stuff. There's also going to be an open market on Harv's Island, and with that, you can contribute bells to the open market and have other visitors like Red, Sahara, Kix will have shops on that island, so you can shop their stores, and also you're going to be able to get different hairstyles from that island as well. Cooking is also coming to New Horizons, so you can have some new DIY recipes in the form of cooking, and so be able to make a lot of different dishes. And also you can support your island life with this Nook Incorporated group stretching. Yep, that's right. You can now exercise in New Horizons because I know that's what you were all looking for. So, yeah, on top of that, you're going to be able to store a ton more in your home storage. I believe it's up to 5,000
Thank
items in
God.
your home storage now. So hopefully you don't run out of storage anytime soon. But yeah, the group stretching. You can also enable ordinances on your island. So, for instance, if you want all of your island inhabitants to wake up early or stay up late, you can enact different ordinances for your island as well. So, Barry, what'd you think about just the update portion of this? We're going to get into the DLC in just a second, which is also pretty exciting. But what'd you think about this update?
I think you're right with the whole bringing things back. And I watched this live. I watched this with my wife, and she was just every announcement was just like tears were coming down, like oh my God, like oh, and to me that was amazing. Just like I was excited for it, but I was seeing her excitement just made this over the top. But I absolutely love some of these things. Brewster, we've known about that for a while coming, which is great to see. I miss Captain. Captain was fantastic. I like that now it's random islands, so you could meet different people there. I like that they showed Tortimer. I don't remember what portion of it, but they definitely showed Tortimer, which a lot of people
Hmm.
thought he died, which I thought was great. The gyroids. Gyroids were one of my favorite things from the original Animal Crossing. I
Hmm.
actually created a character because you can have up to 4 characters, and I created a character and built up his house and filled it with nothing but gyroids. It was like my gyroid collection. So it's interesting to see them come back in new ways, and they're not the same old gyroids, but it's interesting how they've changed. The open market on Harv's Island, I can see myself unlocking everything and paying for everybody to be there, and then probably forgetting to show up. But I
Yeah,
think that's
that's fair.
cool, especially for people who play often or want those exclusive things. And the whole Reese and Cyrus uh, doing new customizations, and there's definitely it looked like maybe some older furniture from the original sets coming back, which is cool. The cooking thing, I've been collecting DIY recipes. I'm still missing a few. And now with the whole, it's like Harvest Moon, now they grow vegetables. There's new vegetables to plant. So now it's like I got to figure out a spot on my island to make like a little garden, and then see how that works. So that's certainly going to be fun. And the stretching thing doesn't do anything, but I like the ordinance. I like the fact that some people only get to play overnight, and some people only get to play in the morning, and to make sure that your residents are up when you're there. Um, I would like to see that happen with the shop,
Mm,
because that's been one of my biggest complaints is the fact that when you have it in the tent in the beginning, it's a 24-hour shop, but once it upgrades to the building, now it closes at 10 o'clock, and it's like, well, what the heck?
welcome back
It's
to
like
your
a
tent.
downgrade.
Yeah.
It's a downgrade. So I don't know if this will affect the shop or what, but I wish the shop would be 24 hours. It just would be kind of helpful. What saddens me is that despite this being a 2.0 update, they didn't do a lot of easy quality of life stuff that people have been asking for forever. Like the ability to craft with items that are in your storage, so you don't have to pull them out. You have them in your storage, just be able to instant craft.
Mm,
Be able to tell you how many items you have on you when you pick up something. Like 25 of 50 or whatever, 25 of
hmm
40. So you know how many spaces you have before, and so you don't get that message, oh, my bags are full.
hmm
The ability to skip messages when you've seen them 100 times. Like, I don't need to know what grade the sea bass would get by the
Right.
100th time I've caught the sea bass. Just let me skip those messages. First time, sure, but then after that, let me skip them. Things like that. Being able to target where you are when you're digging so you can see, so you don't accidentally dig up something.
hmm
One of the things I would kill for, and I don't know why they don't do this, is you have the island decoration app where you get the hat. Make it so that you can only, and give it people that early. They don't have to get terraforming early, but make it so that you can only affect your island the customization of your island if you have that on. So you
Mm,
don't go, oh look, I just knocked down an apple. Let me go pick it up. Oh, I just picked up my fence. Hold on, now I got to go equip the fence and go repair it because I wanted to pick up this apple.
I don't
It
know how many
happens
times that's
all the
happened.
times. Yeah, or you accidentally kick up an image you put on the ground, or because anyone can do that. Like,
hmm
it happens more times than not. And the more you play, the more chance it is to
hmm
happen. So to make it so you can only do that if you're in customization mode, I think would be a huge help, because then you don't have to worry about it. You can literally run around pushing Y the whole time, and you
hmm
never have to worry.
Yeah.
Um, to me, that would be the big. If they did nothing else, but they did that,
Mm,
that would be the biggest custom, or the biggest quality of life
hmm
I would love to see.
Yeah.
And the fact that they stated there's no more updates after this means that's never happening, and to me that's a shame, because it's. I'm sure Nintendo players, like the people on the staff, had to accidentally pick up things before,
Yeah.
or that's had to happen to them. Did
Yeah.
no one say maybe we should stop this?
Yeah.
Maybe we should prevent this? I don't know. If the terraforming thing didn't happen, that's on the game, I can see that. But you already have the hat on the construction. Make it a
Yeah.
mode.
Yeah. That's true. And I do like they are sorry, let me say also on top of that, I think the ability to craft multiple items at a time would have been
Yes. Yes.
fantastic if they added that.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but they did add a couple things. I mean, they added also the ability to put a ladder anywhere.
Yes.
So that's kind of cool. So it's like they are thinking that direction with quality of life kind of stuff. But I wonder if, like they said, it's the last major update. Could they
Yeah.
still do smaller patches for quality of life kind of stuff? Do you
I hope so.
think we're actually going to see stuff, or do you think it's done altogether?
I think it depends on the sales. It all depends on if the sales jump. If the sales don't jump, if the expansion doesn't sell as well, then probably not, because the reason I think they said the last major update is, my guess is they're already working on a Switch 2, whether it's Switch Pro, Switch 2, whatever you want to call it. It's being worked on. They usually start working on the next console after one launches. This is just historic. That's just what they do. They're probably thinking, all right, Animal Crossing New Horizons sold over 30 million on the Switch. if we're doing a Switch 2, which most likely they would be, why wouldn't they? We should probably start thinking about an Animal Crossing game for that. So that's my guess. Is this is the last hurrah, and then they're going to move on to the Switch 2 version of a new Animal Crossing. Just a guess. I could be wrong, but I would like to see those little things. I know they did other things like they allowed you to get more ladder, not ladders, the ramps and bridges. You can get
Mm.
like two extra ones of those, which is great. That's absolutely wonderful quality of life stuff. But there's so many simple things. I know you mentioned, I didn't even mention it, the multiple items when you need like fish bait and you got to do 100 things in the world. And I don't know why clams don't even stack, but you know, how about the ability to store extra DIY recipes, or make him so you could put him in a list and let people come over and browse your list and say, oh, this is what I want. Something like that. There's so many things they could do. It's just they don't.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's kind of like like I don't know, like they still want to keep it in this, for the lack of a better term, game world. Like, and so many of us would like it to be more than a game, if that makes sense. But they're like, no, it's just Animal Crossing. But we're like, no, it could be so much more if you just put some other stuff in this. It could be Animal Crossing plus, like, we could actually more. I mean, not that we would actually do this, but we could live in that world a little bit more if you added some extra stuff in there. But yeah, not so much. But they are adding some extra stuff, because we are getting a DLC, a paid DLC update, as well. That I believe, did they give us an
The fifth,
actual, the fifth, that's also coming out
the
on
same,
the
same.
fifth. So
Yep.
also coming out that day for $24.99 US dollars, you can get an expansion pass for this game called Happy Home Paradise, which is, I think, essentially Happy Home Designer 2.0. And so it's kind of brought into the game, and it's going to allow you to work with Lottie as a member of the Paradise planning team. So you get a job, and you're going to be, you know, essentially creating vacation homes, like the ideal vacation homes for other residents, designing those homes for them, making and remodeling roommate recommendations, all this stuff. Basically, you're working, and you're going to be able to unlock a bunch of stuff, but also make money through this other, make more bells, if you will, through this additional job that you're able to have. You're also going to be able to design facilities. So other vacant buildings on the islands, you can turn them into different things like schools or restaurants or cafes. You can get inspiration from the Happy Home Network. So you can be able to share photos and different things of different homes that people have created and kind of inspire each other. You can use your amiibo, either the amiibo figures or the amiibo cards, to invite more clients or more animals to your island there to design their homes and their vacation islands and everything. And also, then you can bring all of that stuff that you do in that section of the game over to your main island as well, and use that to kind of spruce up your main island and your home and everything as well. So yeah, $24.99. And if you enjoy it, if you enjoy Animal Crossing, but you're like, that seems like too much. They did announce that you can actually get this for free, or get access to it for free, if you become a Nintendo Online expansion pack member. So we'll talk about the expansion pack in just a second, but one of the things included in that is the as access to this DLC for Animal Crossing. They did say as well that if you do cancel your expansion pack membership, you can still have access to everything that you've gotten up to that point. You just can't go back to the island and work anymore until you start paying again. So you have two options. You can either get the expansion pack for Nintendo Switch Online, or you can pay just right up front for $24.99 and get access to the DLC on November 5th. So Barry, I know you got the expansion pack already. So, but were you excited about this DLC? Is this something that you were looking for in Animal Crossing?
This is something that I think was more for my wife since I kind of like designing too, but she really enjoys designing, and she gets really involved with like the characters, and it's like, oh, I can invite them over, and you can do stuff for them and figure things out. And I enjoyed the wedding events. You had to do that, make the different wedding chapels. When that was happening in June. I enjoyed it. I thought it was, for like the first time it was cool. And then by like the third day or fourth day of doing it, I was just like throwing things here or there just to get my points. So I'll see. I mean, I'll give it a shot. One thing they show in the trailer is the ability to have the camera go straight down. I would kill for that on the island when you're terraforming. That would be amazing. So I don't know if that's something we could bring over because I absolutely would bring that over. But I mean, it's interesting. I agree. It's Happy Home Designer 2.0, and the same sense that was to New Leaf as this is to New Horizons, except Happy Home Designer was its own game, its own standalone game, and this is kind of its own standalone game too, just nestled into New Horizons. I think it's fine. I think it's fun. I think there's enough content to justify the cost. I think this is for the hardcore Animal Crossing players, not so much the casual players. But it's there. It's more content. I mean,
Sorry, that was just really funny that we have hardcore Animal Crossing fans
we
opposed to the
do.
casual, and it's true, so true. It was just funny hearing it.
It is. There are people who I have to have every furniture and every color, and I even tried to do that for a while. I started playing that way. Everything in my catalog, and I got to a certain point where I was like, all right, I'm done. I can't do it. There's other games I want to play now. But yeah, that you could do super hardcore. I know people who will do an island up, and then they'll terraform it down and restart, and they'll do like they're on the eighth island version. I did
Wow.
mine, and I was like, I'm happy now. This is good. But people enjoy decorating. People enjoy designing. There's a whole community behind it. There's all the custom patterns, and now you could use even more custom patterns. So I think this is going to be great. What's funny is a lot of the stuff they're like, oh, you could decorate a school, you could decorate a doctor's office. I built those on my island. Like I actually have a doctor's office. I have a school. I designed those from scratch. Using what I had on the island. It was like, oh, okay, they're just giving everybody what I've already done last year. It's okay.
That's right.
But it's fun. Will I dabble in it? Yes. Will I spend hundreds of hours into it? I highly doubt it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you. I totally agree, and I love that it came with the expansion pack because I
Yeah,
don't think I would have bought it on its own. I'm like $25 extra for a game that I don't touch anymore. No, but the fact that it came with the expansion pack, I'm like, sure, I'll try it for a year as I pay my annual subscription, and I may try it a few times and may go on, or who knows? Maybe I'll be addicted to it. We'll see in a couple months where I am with it. But I'm anticipating barely touching it and kind of checking it out and then moving on. I never played Happy Home Designer or any of that, and so like I just yeah. Not my kind of thing, but it's cool for people that are because like clearly there is a market for it, absolutely. And so yeah, I'm interested to see what you can bring over. They say like that sort of thing. So like, is it also, the features like you're talking about, or is it things that you create and you're able to bring that over or buy there and stuff like that? Is it just that, or is it also some extra stuff like that? Because maybe
that'd
you
be
get
good.
your wish of their, if you have your construction hat
That
on,
would that would be worth it,
that'd be
man. I
cool.
tell
Yeah.
you. There's also was snuck in there. It wasn't actually part of the presentation, but they revealed it afterwards in via Twitter. Is that there's another set of Animal Crossing amiibo,
Mm.
a fifth series of 48 cards, and they've since got. Apparently, they went up on Walmart and sold out with a limit of one per person, and they went up on Best Buy with a limit of three per person and sold out. And it's like you want us to get a whole set, but then you're only giving retailers enough that they limit it to one to three. This isn't going to work. Like, come on, Nintendo. You have the hardcore Animal Crossing. Produce enough so that we could at least get a full set or attempt to get a full set.
Yeah.
Or just let us buy a set. But no, we have to use these cards and random stuff and RNG and all that. So, yeah, that didn't exactly make me happy because now I got to go amiibo hunting again.
I don't own any of the amiibo cards. Yeah.
Honestly, they're great for this because it's like a
Yeah.
shopping catalog. It's like,
Yeah,
who do I want in my village?
I like the concept of it. It's so much easier than having to go grab an actual figure and all that stuff, and having to have all those, like, you just have the cards of them. I like the concept, but yeah, I just haven't went after them. Um, Sometimes because they're hard to find sometimes. So I decided, life's too short.
Life's too short. Got to collect amiibo though.
Well, let's move on and talk about the other announcement that basically kind of shadow dropped right under the Animal Crossing updates last week. And as we mentioned, expansion pass does include Animal Crossing. That DLC for Animal Crossing, access to that, but we also got the pricing for it and all that stuff. So yeah, it's actually launched last night, so October 25th. It's kind of came in later in the day, I believe, through a 13.1 update on your Switch, and includes the N64 games that we talked about before, and also the Sega Genesis games, and as we have said, the Animal Crossing New Horizons Happy Home Paradise. So all three of those things are included in the expansion pack, and then they released the pricing, and none of us were correct in our guesses. But you can get 1 month of the expansion pack, sorry, for sorry, this is the basic price. So the basic pricing that we've had for a while is 1 month for $3.99, 3 months for $7.99, or 12 months for $19.99. So pretty cheap, and that includes everything before, like the NES, SNES, playing online, the mobile app, all the other benefits and
Cloud
everything,
saves.
cloud saves, yeah. So all that's included. But if you want the expansion pack to get all three of those, the Genesis games, N64 games, and the Animal Crossing DLC, it's going to be $49.99 for 12 months for a single person membership. And then if you want to get the family plan, which includes up to 8 different accounts, it's going to jump from $34.99 for their standard one to $79.99 for the expansion pack on top of that. So that's not additional, that's like a total price. So it's not $80 on top of your 35, it's like a total of $79.99. So pricing is out there. As you probably already figured out, Barry and I have both upgraded already. So did that last night. I think it was an extra $33 or something, because they prorate it based on what you've already paid for your existing membership, and then they added an additional year on top of that. So it was $33 for me to upgrade for another year. So instead of the $50, it gave me the excess. You're on a family plan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in
So
family.
you did the same thing.
I
Um,
ironically mine was going to expire on 11/4. So literally next week it was going to expire and auto renew. So my pro rate was like 90 cents. I
nice,
saved 90 cents.
nice, nice. So yeah, what do you think about the expansion pack so far? Let's talk pricing first, and then we'll talk about your experience with the 64 and Genesis games a little bit more. But what do you think about that pricing?
Well, I know a lot of people don't like the pricing. A lot of people hate the pricing. It's downvoted, people are angry, people are calling Nintendo out. And here's my take. Is the pricing higher than I expected? Yes. I called it 10 to 20 bucks. I was wrong. It's 30 bucks for the single. It's 45 for the family. Uh, do I think that pricing is good? That all depends on what you're going to get out of it. If you're going to play the N64 games, if you're going to play the Genesis games, probably. Especially if you want to play games like Musha, where you're talking, $1,000 for a physical card. And yes, you could do a legal emulation, but we're talking, legit. You're getting a lot of good games, and you're getting online multiplayer. And I think that a lot of people are forgetting that. Like Mario Kart 64, you can play online now. That's really cool. Uh, if you're going to play Animal Crossing and you're going to play the DLC, then it's a no-brainer. It's 100% worth it. If you're single, single plan, and you're gonna definitely pay the $25, you might as well pay an extra 5 for the year and see if you like it. And you know what? If you really don't like it and you still want to play Animal Crossing, you buy it again afterwards. But at least you give it a shot. And if in a year from now you're not even playing Animal Crossing, then you know what? You got your money's worth, because you would have played the same amount if you spent the $25 to begin with, and you got all the N64 and the Genesis games for $5. With a family plan, two or more, especially with multiple Animal Crossing players, it's hands down worth it. If two people buy the Animal Crossing DLC, that's $50. So like if my wife and I both bought it, it's $50. Or it's $45 for us to upgrade for the year. So we actually save $5 and we get the N64 and the Genesis games. It's a no-brainer. And in a year from now, the odds are I probably won't be playing Animal Crossing. So for me, it's fine. DLC aren't, you don't own them anyways. It's like a digital game. You don't really own the games or the DLC. It's like renting.
Hmm.
If my wife is still playing it, then she gets to continue for another year. She's having fun. Um, that's the way I look at it. I'll go into more thoughts after, but what are your thoughts on the pricing?
Yeah, it's definitely higher than I expected it to be, but I think at 49.99 for a single person, I mean it's right at the same price that Microsoft and Sony used to be for their regular um, uh, online membership. The only thing is, like, even at $50, they gave you free games like on top of that. And now at $60, they're still giving you free games for Xbox and PlayStation. And I just don't know if the value is there for Nintendo. Like, having access to a library of retro games is great, but like, it'd be cool if you threw in maybe an extra, a free regular game, like a modern game or somewhat modern game as well. Like, I think that's the added bonus. That's why I continue my Xbox Live membership, is because I get 3 free games a month for that membership. And so, like, I think it's I don't think it's too high, but I would have I prefer more value for that cost. Um, I think I was hoping for something like 39.99 is where I was hoping it would land. So I'm not happy about it, but I'm not upset about that pricing. It's nothing that's going to make me go, oh my gosh, like, I'm not paying that. That's ridiculous. Clearly, I've already upgraded, so I'm not too thrilled about it. But in the whole scheme of things, it's $50 a year. It's not $50 a month.
Yeah.
So I was okay with it, but I would have preferred 40.
Oh, I hands down, don't get me wrong, I absolutely would prefer it cheaper. Like I said, I called $10, $20 max. So I was wrong, and I would have preferred to be right. Uh, it's one of those things where you really have to depend on, like I said, the value.
Mhm.
And it also depends on what Nintendo does going forward. So this is
Right,
what I see.
right.
And I could be wrong, but I really hope I'm right. I do think there's going to be more consoles added to the expansion pack. I do
There's
not think there will be any more consoles added to the base
Yeah,
membership.
yeah.
I
There has been
do,
some data mining
yes.
supposedly, and already finding one. So yeah.
Yeah. So I do think there will be new NES and SNES games. I don't know how often they'll trickle out, but I do not think you'll get any more free consoles or consoles included in the lower tier. What I do want to see Nintendo do, in addition to adding new consoles and new games for said consoles, is new first party DLC, make it available included in your membership. So make the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity DLC, like make that included. Make Smash Brothers characters included. Make, going forward, any new DLC that comes out, kind of like this year with HBO Max, all the new Warner Brothers movies that went to theaters also went to HBO Max. All the new first party DLC, and maybe some third party DLC as well included. So right now at $30 a year extra or $45 extra a year, it might not be worth it. But going forward, that value is only going to increase as long as the price doesn't increase. And if that's the case, I'm okay with it, because I think that's really cool. Because then a lot of people may be like, well, I don't really want to pay for the DLC, but since it's included, I might as well check it out. You said
Hmm.
the same thing about Animal Crossing. I'm in the same boat. So I want to see that going forward, and I want to see them start adding older DLC. Hey, you didn't get Breath of the Wild expansion pack. Well, we're gonna throw this in there. Maybe go back to Breath of the Wild. And for if you're a new player, hey, cool. Maybe I'll jump in now. I'll do it with Smash. Do it with Splatoon 2. Do it with Mario Kart or any of the other DLC. Mario Kart. I don't think Mario Kart actually had any paid.
Not in
But
deluxe. Nope.
any DLC like that, I want to see them do that. And again, get some third parties in there. Get some third parties I want in there. If you look at the attach rate of a game and say, well, shoot, the attach rate is like 2% on this DLC. Well, what if we include it in the Nintendo Switch Online? Maybe it won't be a value for a lot of people, but maybe it'll be a value for some. And if it doesn't increase the price, then great, add it on. And that's what I want to see. And if it doesn't improve, if this is the only DLC and they're banking on Animal Crossing and then we just get a couple new systems, I'm going to be upset because this Animal Crossing set a precedence as far as I'm concerned.
Mm.
First party DLC included. Make it happen.
Yeah. I would love that as well. And I think it's weird, like because Animal Crossing is already it's not a brand new game. We're getting 2.0 update, but and this brand new
But the
DLC,
DLC is
but
brand new.
right, but like that's gonna be old after a while. And so like come late 2022 or 2023, like if that's still the same benefit that I get for being an expansion pack member, I'm like, no, I stopped playing that game long ago. Like if I'm only all I'm getting is N64 and Genesis, especially if it's only the same 20 games they told us about, that's it. I'm gonna stop that expansion pack membership. Yeah, they need to keep it going somehow. I love that idea. I would have never thought that was possible. Maybe because I just don't know about programming and don't know how to make that happen. But I love the fact that like you can do that. Clearly they've set that precedent to go, hey, you know what? If you get this, you have access to this, and if you stop paying, we take away your access. I go, what other games can you do that for then? Because I'd love to be able to. Yeah, there's several games that that it is like the old DLC that I never checked out. But if you give it to me for free, yeah, I'll check it out for sure. So
Exactly.
I love that idea.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
And you'd mentioned about like Xbox giving you games free. They used to actually give you the digital versions free, but now if you stop Xbox Live, you lose those games. So
Do you
game,
really?
yeah, they
They
changed it.
pulled a Sony on us.
Yep. So that is another factor, and that's another thing that sucks.
It is,
Uh,
but at the same time, it suckers you into paying another membership.
yes,
Yeah.
it does, and they will be adding new games. They showed new N64 games
Hmm.
that they confirmed are coming.
Yeah.
So we know
Yeah.
they're going to be adding more games, and they did state new NES and SNES games would be coming.
Hmm.
So maybe Jakester will finally get his Earthbound.
Maybe.
What's
And
weird is that Sonic 2 is included, and the only reason I say it's weird is because we are getting the Sonic Origins collection.
yeah,
Usually,
but
like
yeah, that's true. Maybe it's a future one, or maybe they're like, you know what, we stick Sonic One on everything.
maybe it's because it's Sega. They're like, oh, whatever, we'll
Yeah.
let you.
Yeah. I hope that as well that they use this extra money to make the online experience better.
Yes.
That's
Uh,
the biggest thing.
in the chat, Kevin Wallace has said that he's seen horrible, terrible online play from Mario Kart 64 with choppy gameplay,
Mm.
and that saddens me. Like, I'm not a big online player, but it'd be kind of cool to like go, call up my high school friends and be like, hey, you want to have an old game night,
Yeah.
and do play like high school again with N64 games.
Yeah.
So hopefully they do fix that.
Yeah, I hope so too. And I think that so I mentioned having some friends over and want to do a Mario Kart night. All of those guys like had been like they hadn't played much of the new versions of Mario Kart. A couple of them had not touched Mario Kart since 64, and they were really hoping to come over and play 64. And I had to break it to them that I actually don't have a copy of Mario Kart 64 for and a cartridge on it. I don't know what happened to it. I'm almost certain that I owned it at some point, and then it's no longer with me. But the only version I have is the Wii Virtual Console version that I could pull up my Wii U for. But I was like, "Are you guys okay with just playing deluxe?" But now we can boot it up there, and one of them, the couples actually has a Switch, so we could just play it across town, and they don't even have to come over.
There you go.
That is if the online works well, which I had also Heard of that, Kevin. I saw some gameplay and heard that it's kind of choppy, which is really unfortunate in some games that require some precise movements, like Mario Tennis and Mario Kart and things like that. If you have some lag, that kind of becomes really unfortunate. And I did see that like some of the games, like the ports are not as good as some of the previous times they ported it over. So that's kind of weird. All I did was boot it up and I looked at the cartridges, checked out the menu system, and then or the screenshots, and checked out the menu system, and then moved over to the Genesis one, did the same thing, and then I went to bed because it was already like 2 in the morning, and I was playing Metroid for really too late. So your experience, Barry, what was it like playing those games?
Mario Tennis was fine. The biggest thing was, figuring out what button was what because I just jumped in and obviously I'm using a Pro controller for an N64 game. So, I don't remember if the C buttons did anything. I wasn't sure what those are mapped to. So found two of the serves and two of the different hits, the lob and I forget what the other one was called, but I'm like, I'm just gonna stick with this, and I wound up winning. But I also, it was just it played fine. I mean, a single player. It was. I mean, I didn't go through and check with the video and all that, but like the blurry textures were there. I don't know if they really cleared that up at all, but it was just kind of weird, like looking back, and it was Waluigi's first appearance, so it's kind of cool to go back into that again. And then Genesis, like I said, I just did Musha, but it played absolutely fine. No problem.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I've heard some things about delayed inputs. I know Game Explain did a quick thing on like just testing it, and it was like barely, off compared to the original game. So I hear that that's a little bit of an issue. Some people just say there's delayed inputs on the Switch altogether. There's a little bit too much lag from controller anyway. So maybe it's just a product of the fact that controller lag on Switch is not where it needs to be overall, and just you're noticing it more for whatever reason at this point. But yeah, I guess if you're not playing any games that require like that kind of precision, then it's okay. But yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out. I mean, now that I have it, and yeah, maybe we'll get a chance to play some Mario Kart 64 online. Something that I
Yeah,
never
maybe.
never in my wildest mind would ever have expected myself to say to you, Barry. We can play Mario Kart 64 online
We
against each other.
can. Jakester says he's also seen delayed inputs on Twitter, as has Jared has had some delayed inputs as well.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
Well, that wasn't the only news over the last few weeks. East Asia Soft keeps pumping out more games and their biggest showcase. So, Barry, how about you walk through all these announcements and tell us what East Asia Soft showed off?
Yeah, so they had a fall showcase the other week, which they've been doing now like every quarter. And East Asia Soft puts out some really fun games. A lot of them we've done in game chats. They've been very generous with their codes, which has been awesome. And a lot of them do go physically exclusively on PlayAsia.com. So if you are a physical collector like me, go over there. So they showed off a couple games right at the start, including The Letter, which is a horror visual novel, and that one does have a physical that is available for pre-order right now at PlayAsia. Hiroshio Goes Snowboarding, Rick Henderson, Demonica Everlasting Night, and Breakneck City. Those were they came out with those, and here are some. These ones are. I don't think they all have dates right now. I think that those ones all are happening a little bit later. But then since it's the fall showcase, they wanted to talk about stuff for the fall. So they started with Mortis Temporis, which is out October 13th. So that's already out in Europe, North America, and 14th Japan. So that one's already out. Waifu Discovered 2 Medieval Fantasy, which came out October 14th. So that one's also out at this time. Crazy Gravity, which is out October 20th. So that one's also out. So then starting with Lucid City comes out October 27th. Bobble Hentai, which comes out October 28th. Pretty Girls Panic Plus, which is coming out November 4th. 890B comes out November 10th. Venus Improbable Dream comes out November 12th. Masto is Together, which was an interesting looking one. Comes out November 17th. One I found the most interesting is a game called 20 Ladies, which comes out November 19th in Europe and North America for the Switch. But if you're not a Switch owner, first off, thank you for listening, but you should probably get a Switch. But if you do have a PlayStation 4, you instead get 20 Bunnies, because that one is like a puzzle platformer where you've got to rescue 20 ladies every level. But I guess that's too risque for Sony's adult audiences, and instead they have to rescue 20 bunnies. I just find that to be so funny because usually it's the other way around, and now it's not. Now Nintendo is allowing more risque stuff, and it's not even like really risque. It's cartoon, girls. So yeah, that I thought was really interesting. Drizzle Path Deja Vu comes out November 24th. And then they ended with a game called Wife Quest. So there's some really Japanese games in this. There's definitely has that Asian flair, but it's not just games like that. There's platformers and puzzle games and shmups and a bunch of really cool stuff. And if you're watching the video, you're actually getting to watch some of the direct. It's not a long direct. I do recommend that you go check it out because they do have some really quirky and cool stuff. And the stuff is usually very inexpensive, and just some of the stuff has just been amazing, and they're all different developers, and a lot of them use like retro style. Like you're seeing on the screen right now, Demonica's coming out, and it's a 2D, action beat 'em up, and the style is just really, really cool. It's got like almost like 16-bit, but with 32-bit style into it, and it looks like a lot of fun, and maybe one day I'll get to play it and check it out. But Steve, I know you got to watch this. What are your thoughts on this presentation?
Yeah, I think it's increasingly I'm finding myself that I feel for the most part I don't find myself a fan of a lot of the stuff that East Asia Soft puts out. That doesn't mean that I think it's bad. I just like it's not my thing for the most part, but I do like that I'm seeing them branch out beyond what was like their typical lane, which was like the visual novels and stuff like that, and like we saw a lot of that from them, and now we are seeing some beat 'em ups and some shmups and things like that. So that's exciting. I think for me, like to get really excited about what they're doing, like those need to go like to the next level. Like Crisis Wing was, not so great, and so it'd be great to like, get the quality up there. But I love that they keep expanding it. A lot of the games like they push some envelopes that I'm just not like I don't really that doesn't excite me. To see scantily clad women, I just give me a regular puzzle game. I don't need to see a cartoony, girl in a bikini. But for people that like that, they've got tons of them coming out. And the one game that stood out to me, I wasn't expecting it. Totally surprised me. Was Horatio Goes Snowboarding. It looks so much fun, and it's like a combination between this like Frogger kind of game and Ski
Yeah.
Free. And
Yeah.
that's beautiful, and it looks cool. It looks fun. Like it's not like I think I've gotten tired of the retro design lately. I'm just like because everybody went retro, and I think I just got burned out on like, oh look, someone else is developing a game that looks like it was made for the NC or the SNES. But Horatio Goes Snowboarding is like a little bit more modern. It's not like super realistic, but it's still got a little more modern look to it. And yeah, Frogger and Ski Free combined, sign me up for sure. So, what'd you
Yeah,
think?
I agree. When I saw that one was like, whoa, that's totally, not what I was expecting at all. A lot of them, like Demonica, like I love that style. I'm not tired of retro. The Breakneck City, I like that it's like 2D style, but it's also 3D, and it kind of reminds me of like 3D Dot Game Hero in this
Mhm.
that visual style, where it was like these are cube people, these look like they took 8-bit sprites and just literally made them 3D, and that was great, and I love them doing that and really exploring with what they can do. I'm with you. A lot of it is the Asian flair, and Asians are very They're driven by sex. They're just very a sexual culture, and so they will absolutely do things. It's interesting. Titles like The Wife Who Discovered 2 is only on the Switch. Like no other ones, did actually. No other systems got that, and that's something that's unique about this presentation is that every title shown off was on the Switch, and some were only on the Switch, and that's something you don't usually see outside of a Nintendo Direct. Usually, you'll see some PlayStation only, some Xbox only, or PlayStation and Xbox, and not see Switch titles, and it's interesting to see that. And like they're showing the right now on the screen is the gravity game. I love that idea. Like that type of puzzle platformer is really an interesting concept. And growing up, Crazy Gravity. Growing up like with Mega Man 5 and Gravity Man Stage, that was a real big element to it. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And that's the first time I really experienced something like that. So to see a whole game designed by that, where you don't really have time to stop, it was like, whoa, this is really like that looks really like a lot of fun. Will it be game of the year? I can't say, but it does look very interesting, and I like that. I like when developers are given the freedom to think outside the box because a lot of times people come up with some crazy ideas, and not every publisher is going to give them the green light. And then if they're going to give the green light, how many of them are lost into the void on the eShop or the Steam store or whatever? There's so many games. We go through the list uh, every single episode, and we talk about it, and there's just tons of games that just get lost in the shuffle. So it's great that you have publishers like this that are giving titles a chance, but also going above and beyond, in my opinion, to do showcases like this, to bring attention. Because I guarantee that if they didn't do this, we wouldn't have any idea about 90% of these games.
Nope.
Even the letter, the only reason I knew about that prior to was because they did a physical, and I do purchase their physicals. And I knew nothing about it when I bought it because as a collector, I just got it. And then I saw this, and I was like, that looks fantastic. I love visual novels. I like horror visual novels. I'm not a horror game fan, but I love horror game novels, like the visual novels. And that looks awesome. And I can't wait for it to come out because I do plan, whether I do or not is a different story, but I do plan to play it. The game that's showing on right now is Quicks. It's a game that I grew up with, but it's Quicks with half naked women, and it's on the Switch. So if you don't mind that, I mean, you're getting Quicks. It's cool. It's an old concept with a definite Japanese flair, but it's interesting to see that coming on Nintendo. I mean, you would never think Nintendo with a game like that. Like, oh, never. This is not going to happen. But right now, 890B is shown, and this is a very different style game than what we just saw in like you were
Yep.
talking about, Steve. They're definitely branching out. Little puzzles they're showing like Sokoban. That's old school, but the game is very stylistically different. It's very modern almost. It's like the PlayStation, I guess, Saturn, N64 style era of 3D, but smoother. You don't have those rough polygons, and it's cool that they're branching out into these cool little things, and a
Hmm.
lot of like I said, all these games are available on the Switch,
Yeah.
which is fantastic, and definitely the one that just gets me is the 2020 ladies, because they had to make a censored version specifically for the PS4, and it's not even a risque looking game. It's not nothing that I would let my kid play it, you know. It does nothing really like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's weird to think that's the case, and yeah, that we're in that. And I love what you're saying about East Asia Soft. I really love that they keep doing these showcases because we find out about games. If Horatio Goes Snowboarding just came out as a regular, the developer puts out their own trailer out there, maybe I'll hear about it. Maybe we'll get a press release about it. But a showcase like this shows it off as it's designed to, and now we're talking about it. And before, it probably would have totally, just slid under the radar. and I think that's the case with a lot of these games, which is really cool. So I mean, I think great props to them being a cool developer that is showing off some high quality indie games that normally would not get any time of day at all.
Absolutely. And like I said, if any of these interest you, a lot of them are coming out soon. And who knows? Like I said, they've been extremely nice with codes. We've had a couple game chats with East Asia Soft Games, and some of them we saw at like the previous summer showcase. We saw like Trigger Witch was there, Crisis Wing was there, and Macrotus was there. And are they all winners? No. I mean, there's no company was going to guarantee everything, especially as you're talking about a publisher. These are all different developers, so everyone's developed by a different company, but it's nice to see them come up. Oh, now we have 20 ladies and bunnies on the screen. So now anyone who's watching can see what I'm talking about. That the ladies are there. There's nothing there. There's nothing wrong there. I mean, I guess it's funny that they have to censor that little tiny image
Mm-hmm.
for Sony,
It's like a
because
block.
it's like Super Meat Boy. You're a
Yeah.
block. I mean, and the ladies. I mean, there's the when you beat it, you got to see a more detailed. That's about the closest thing you're gonna see that's bad, and even that it's bad in quotes. Everything else, it's fine,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just funny that they have to do the bunny version, for PlayStation.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious. I don't know, but yeah, like you said, like to let them get these games out there, let them be seen. I think that's great. I think I think there's a lot to them, and the fact that they work with PlayAsia to get physical releases out, and because the Switch is region free, they're all in English and they are playable. So if you are a physical collector or you prefer your games physical, first off, good on you. Second off, you get that option, and they do really cool stuff at affordable prices. So, like I said, I can't wait now to play the letter. And I had no idea when I pre-ordered it, and then I saw that, and I was like, wow, that looks up my alley. I am really excited to play that.
That's cool. That's cool. Looks like just going to the chat, couple comments that Jakester says that Sony's lost their minds since the Switch came out. So I guess maybe they have. I don't know. Maybe they're just a little jealous, or they're just going backwards. I don't know what's going on. So
There's quite a bit of games that are censored on the Sony platforms versus the
yeah,
Switch, which is interesting.
yeah, really is. We live in unprecedented times. You know, Nintendo is not censoring their games while Sony is, and we can play Genesis on our Nintendo consoles.
Well,
It's
we've been able
weird.
to do that since the Wii.
Well, that's true, but now like it's a part of the Nintendo Online service. Like it's
We've
just
also
weird.
been able to play it on the Switch before too, because there is a
Yeah,
Genesis
pretty much
collection.
almost all of those games we could play already on the Switch. But yeah, it's so weird to to see that come up there. Like even the little icon,
Yeah,
it says Genesis and then it goes Sega and all that stuff, but then it has a little Nintendo logo on there. And even weirder is that Nintendo is selling a Genesis controller. That's
yes.
just bizarre. Like I don't even know what world I live in now. That's weird. But I didn't order one of those. I ordered an A64 controller, and it should arrive tomorrow. I was really hoping it'd be
Wow.
here today so I could unbox it on the podcast, but I think it arrives tomorrow. So,
Mine's Friday. I've got to wait for.
bummer. So unless it arrives like as we're talking, like sometimes I get deliveries late, and I'm like, if I just hear a thump like right outside, I'm like, I'll be right back. Well, let's turn the page a little bit and talk about some headlines, some quick stories that we won't necessarily go into and discuss that much, but we do want to make sure that you, our podcast audience and listeners, do know about. Yeah, Barry, you want to share the first one?
Sure. Advance Wars, the game that we've all been waiting for forever to get just a resurgence. We found out Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp was coming out December 3rd, per E3. A lot of people were excited to revisit these games, and for a lot of people, the first time. Well, unfortunately, the games do need some more work, and they have been delayed till spring 2022. Uh, you know, it's unfortunate, but when Nintendo delays a game, it's not always a bad thing. So if it needs a little more time, you know, I say go for it. But it's still disheartening for those that were looking forward to playing it this holiday.
Absolutely. Yeah. If it needs more time in the oven, put it back in the oven. Uh, we also got some numbers. Guess what? Nintendo is still selling a lot. Uh, for the month of September, PlayStation 5, though, was the best selling hardware out there. But yeah, Nintendo is still selling a ton of Switches. It's also reported that video game hardware sales for the month increased 49% when compared to last September. So games are continuing to sell like crazy. But software, we're seeing Madden take the number one spot, and so like there's a little bit of a drop, even with the Switch OLED coming out. Actually, that was prior to the Switch OLED coming out, so we don't have those numbers factored in. There's a good chance that that might boost it back up, and by October, November, we're gonna see a lot. But yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still topping the charts. WarioWare Get It Together came in there at number 2, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate there at 3. And you can see the rest of the top 10 games on NintendoFuse.com. But yeah, still selling like crazy. Just lost out to the PlayStation 5 this time around. But that's gonna happen sometimes.
Can't win them all. 33 months, I think it was a streak.
It's a
You
big
can't
streak.
can't argue with that. It's a big streak. Uh, Speaking of random streaks, Nintendo has a streak of just randomly dropping game announcements lately. Screw the Nintendo Direct, we're just going to randomly drop a game announcement. And they did that just before the recording of this. In fact, it was dropped at 8:04 p.m. Eastern, and we start recording this at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, so less than 30 minutes away. Nintendo partnered with Niantic once again to release Pikmin Bloom for mobile. Not exactly sure what this is. It seems to be some kind of pedometer walking game where it looks like the more you walk, the more Pikmin you discover, the more they evolve, and maybe you encounter different things along your walk. I'm not totally sure. You grow more, you get more, but this apparently is coming out. It might be out now. I haven't had time to check, but there is an interesting trailer. If you want to see it, it does what like Pokemon Go did when you saw like the Mewtwo fighting in Times Square and all that. Like the real game isn't like that. But yeah, this could be interesting. Depends on how it is or what it involves. But this just dropped tonight.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I mean, because Pikmin does not have the cultural appeal that Pokemon does, so I'm interested to see how it does. But we'll see. Yeah. So let us know what you guys think about in all these stories in the comments or the live chat as well. Looks like Jakester is just best selling only by bots. What's he talking about? The
He's
bots
talking about bots
bots are
picking up
buying the
like mines.
PlayStations. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense because yeah, you can't get your actual hands on them. It's just the bots that are buying them. That makes sense. I have started seeing Switches like in the wild and in stores again though, so they're finally getting back in the stores. Um, yeah. Any further thoughts about any of these stories, Barry? Before we move on.
I see Kevin asked, "Will I play it?" That depends. I'm not planning to play it if it's simply just walking, and I do walking. I used to do it every day. Now I try and do it as much as possible. I mean, I have a Fitbit here, but it's one of those things where if it's just walking and doesn't involve a lot of activity on my part, like in terms of gameplay. Like it's not going to take. You're like, oh, I'm playing it now, and it's going to take an hour of my day every day. Then I'm definitely not going to play it. But if it's just walking and I just check maybe every night, like, oh, what did I do? Okay, then yeah, I might give it a shot. Whenever it drops, we don't know when it's going to drop. If it's going to drop anytime soon, they didn't give a date in the trailer. It was just here's the announcement. So I guess it really depends on how involved. But I think it's cool. I think of all franchises, Pikmin I did not have on my bingo card for getting another mobile. In fact, I thought Nintendo was virtually done with mobile, and I guess Niantic was like, "Hey, we can do something. Let's do it." As for the MPD, it kind of sucks that Nintendo lost its streak, but considering that the system is significantly older now, and the PlayStation and the Series X both came out in November of last year, and it's October. Well, that was for September, so that's almost a full year later, and it's still held strong, and it was only number two, right? It's still beating the Xbox,
Yeah.
and I think with the OLED it might boost it back up. I think it's doing incredibly well. You know, I just hope that Nintendo doesn't let this success go to their head, because we see what happens when companies get complacent. They start getting sloppy. The PlayStation 3 is a prime example of what happens when a company gets too, comfy with their success. We don't want to see Nintendo do that. We like to see innovation. We like to see new ways to push sales and to get sales and to make people desire your product. And that usually happens when you're failing, when you're doing those Hail Marys. So I like to see Nintendo, even though they're doing well, continue to do these Hail Marys with a Switch too. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Advanced Wars, I'm not that into it, so it doesn't bother me that it was delayed. But at the same time, like we said already, more time usually means better game. Sales, I'm totally with you what you're saying. And Pikmin, yeah, I mean, I'll definitely check it out, especially if it's free, which it probably will be. And so I'll definitely check it out. I'm a big fan of Pikmin. Yeah, I have no idea what this is going to be about. But like Kevin said, platinum coins that you might get from it. Maybe it's worth checking it out and seeing
Yeah.
how many platinum coins you can get just by walking.
Hey, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be great. As long as it doesn't run my battery dead. I like the extremely long battery life in the my new iPhone, but if it runs my battery dead, then maybe I won't play it.
Oh, that's the worst.
Hmm.
Pokemon Go destroyed my battery.
Yeah, yeah. That's when I started buying external batteries just for Pokemon Go, going around the city and trying to play for hours and hours, and yeah, had to have at least two external batteries with me just to make sure.
It
Uh,
was funny. I was just thinking about Pokemon Go the other day when it like had such a hold over me. Like we would drive by and like, oh, Pokestop, hold on, got to pull
mm-hmm.
over, get our spin. I'm so glad I'm done with that. It's such an enslaving game.
I felt the same thing with the 3DS Street Passes. Man, I was
Yes.
so into the Street Pass stuff and everything, and I booted up my 3DS not too long ago just to see if I had a certain game like in the Virtual Console or whatever, and then all of a sudden like all the nostalgia came back, and I was like, oh, I remember Street Pass. Oh, I remember trying to get all those puzzle pieces. Oh, I remember
I like
this.
doing that.
Yeah,
I got all the puzzle pieces.
that was great. That's what they should put in this in Switch 2. Bring back Street Pass.
Yeah. Make it pocket size again too.
Just make sure that you can actually hold more than 10 at a time.
Oh,
That was the painful part, especially going to conventions. Ugh. You should have it out all the time. But anyhow, yeah, if you guys are new to the NintendoFuse podcast, we would absolutely love it if you would subscribe and also hit that bell on YouTube to be alerted every time we post a new video. Share this with others if you like what you see and like what you hear. If your YouTube or if your podcast service or app allows you to like an episode or like a podcast or leave a review, please do that. That's just a huge help for us. We do this for us because we just enjoy talking games, but we love being able to grow this community, and that's one of the ways is if we get positive reviews and people share this, it just kind of helps us grow this community of Nintendo gamers out there. Speaking of which, if you have not followed us on social media, please do that at Nintendo Fuse on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and also join our Discord so that you can continue this conversation in between episodes. We record this live every other week, pretty much, and in between those episodes, lots of stuff happens. And if you want to talk about it, our Discord is a great place to go. You can find all those links in the show notes, the YouTube description, and the Discord is right on the screen if you're watching the video version. But yeah, let's talk about what is coming up over the next couple weeks. Our next podcast is happening on November 9th. Sorry, I moved my iPad and it was like blocking my screen there. November 9th is our next episode. So over the next couple weeks, there's quite a few games coming out. A little game that Barry loves called Fatal Frame, getting the Maiden of Blackwater version is coming out on October 28th. Mario Party Superstars is finally coming here on October 29th. Just Dance 2022, they're still pumping those out. Coming on November 4th. Blue Reflection comes out on November 9th. A lot of those games that we talked about from the East Asia Soft presentation are coming out over the next couple weeks as well. Barry, what are you looking forward to that's coming out over the next couple weeks? Any of these games making you excited?
Yeah, I mean Mario Party Superstars for sure. There's the Isle of Cards, wherever from Square Enix. I really like that demo. I'm gonna try and hold off on getting the digital, and really hope that a physical happens. But if I get a review code, I will absolutely be playing it. I really enjoyed that demo. Mario Party is the main thing that I plan to play, what I hope to play, I should say, outside of what I'm already working on. But there, like you said, there's some great stuff. The Fatal Frame, which I think is still cool that Nintendo allowed it to go to other platforms. For me, the biggest downfall is the physical, because the physical gets getting a physical only in Japan and Asia, and it will have English, but it will only have English via a download patch. So if you do buy the physical, you are technically not getting an English version unless you download that patch, but it's not English on the card.
Hmm.
So I actually canceled my pre-order for that, because to me that doesn't count. If the servers are down, you can't play it. So that's kind of a negative. And it's just weird seeing Grand Theft Auto down there.
Right?
So,
Yeah. Rumored for so long, when we're finally seeing it, and I feel like it kind of just slides under the radar right now. I don't know. Right next to Om Nom Run. I didn't realize that was actually coming out. I
yeah,
feel like we
Happy
see
Game is coming out too.
more and more mobile games that keep coming over to Switch. I was actually surprised to see A Boy and His Blob. I like the newer
Yep.
version of it coming over, and I was like, oh, wow, I forgot about that game. Um,
Demon Turf is by Fabraz, the same people who did Slime Song. That looks
hmm,
really good, I believe.
nice, nice. World War Z. I need to look into that. Is that like a remake of an old game, or did they make a new game based on?
It might be a new one.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out a couple of these, and I think that's the big thing. There's no like huge like there's not a lot of huge games coming out. So if you find yourself in a slump and want to check out some more indie games or some others that have typically maybe slide under the radar, the next couple weeks there's a lot of less expensive games. So instead of spending $60 on one game, you could spend $60 and probably buy like 5 or 6 indie games instead. That is, if unless you don't want to buy Mario Party. So
You got the
yeah.
Cotton games too. Those are great shmups from the Saturn era that
Mm,
never got English releases. So if you're a fan of shmups, definitely go for it. That Undernauts Labyrinth of Yomi, that's got a
hmm.
physical. That looks pretty good. That's I have that coming. And Okinawa Rush has a physical coming from VGNY Soft. That also looks very good.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think the only one that really is, and I keep going back and forth. I think on the last podcast, I actually said that I was getting really excited about Mario Party, and now I kind of find myself in this complacent kind of point again, and going, I'm not really sure if I want to get it. I don't know. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where I am when it actually launches, and maybe I'll get it. Maybe I won't. We'll see. Um,
I'll be going for it.
yeah. I still love the idea that you can play online. I think that's a cool
Finally.
addition. And hopefully they put all our money to good work and we don't have any lag, or because Mario Party games require some pretty
Oh,
precise input sometimes, and if it lags, I am just going to throw my controller and quit.
that was probably one of the funniest things you've ever said in the podcast, Steve. Yeah, it won't lag.
Yeah, maybe the extra money, probably not. Okay. Oh boy. Well, let's see. Anything going on in the chat that we've overlooked at all? Looks like Jakester said he's going to be playing more Fire Emblem. Nino Cooney got a game to play on Halloween. Um, and a friend of mine wants to get it, Steve, but hopefully, okay, I'm guessing Mario Party. So yeah, I think that pretty much brings us to a close. Speaking of Jakester, he's been playing like Fire Emblem and Cooney and stuff like that on Twitch. So if you're not following him, be sure to check that out. I think he's pretty much streaming like every evening now. He's bumped it up. I feel like I get notifications like all the time when he's streaming, and it used to be a couple days a week. I'm pretty sure it's like almost every day now. So check out Jakester's stream, and be sure to connect with everybody on social media again, and of course on our Discord. We would love to have you guys jump in and help us keep growing our community here at Nintendo Fuse. We would be back for our next live recording on November 9th. And hopefully, Greg will be back, and we'll actually have our team of 3 back at that point.
Yes.
And yeah, if again, one more time, if you never joined us live, try to do that. We'd absolutely love talking with you guys throughout the entire podcast and hearing your thoughts about all the stuff we talk about as well. So we record live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, pretty much every other Tuesday. So the next one on November 9th. But I think that brings us to the end. Barry, anything coming up in your life of the next couple of weeks you want to tell people about? Other podcasts
Yes.
you're appearing on or anything like that?
Yeah, it's going to be crazy for going forward for me, especially between now and the next podcast. I just 2 weeks ago, between podcasts, I was at Too Many Games 2021 in Philadelphia, which was an amazing show. Got to meet a lot of great people, tons of fun just to hang out with not only people in the community but also some YouTubers and stuff, and got to meet up with some really cool friends and make new connections, and it was an awesome experience overall. And now next weekend, not this upcoming one, the weekend after that, I'll actually be up in Connecticut. So if anyone's up there, Retro World Expo is happening, so I'll be there. It's a Saturday Sunday show. Not expensive to get in. I think it's like $25 and $30 to get in, so nothing too crazy. But if you're in there, definitely come say hi. We do have some stuff, because for those of you that don't know, I do work for Premium Edition Games. So we do have some really cool, exciting stuff, such as the shipping of our second series. And I showed the cards before, but here they are. They are done. They are beautiful, and that means people will be going for these suckers, the patches.
Mm.
So it'd be interesting to see who goes for these, because these are awesome. And we also have, that's going to happen in between, so we'll be talking about it next podcast, but we will be between podcasts. There might be a direct coming from us. It's written and recorded, and it's in works right now, so we have a date planned, but I can't say for certain because it might just miss it or not. But some announcements coming there. So those are always fun, because I get to write them, and recording them is always a blast, and try and throw in some humor and some surprises for people. And I think people are really going to enjoy this, especially if you're a physical collector. And even if you're not, even if you'd say, I only do digital, there might be a game we're releasing or two that maybe you've never heard of, and it'll be like, ooh, you know what? Thanks for bringing this to my attention, just like the East Asia Soft Direct, and maybe you want to check it out. So for sure, stay tuned for that. I'll be announcing it on my personal social media, as well as Premium Edition's social media, of course. And we got some an industry talk lined up, big one lined up that I'll be recording for Nintendo Fuse, as well as a bunch of interviews with developers that will be going up on premium side, and probably a bunch of guest spots too, because this is usually the busy season for me. So I'll probably next podcast I'll be like, here's my list of where I will be. Uh, but yeah, it's crazy. It's like nonstop.
Yeah. 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 Well, I'm actually going to be in an event this weekend. So
Nice.
if you are in the Denver area or that are thereabouts, or you want to fly in or drive in, I'll be at Fan Expo Denver this weekend, and just kind of checking it out. And It's what used to be Comic Con, then changed into Pop Culture Con, and now is Fan Expo. But basically the same idea. Thank you, Comic Con San Diego, for trademarking that name and making us change every year. So maybe they'll actually stick with the same name moving forward. But that's going to be happening this weekend, Halloween weekend. So probably a lot more cosplayers than normal having it on Halloween weekend. But yeah, if you head down to Denver and want to say hi, yeah, shoot me a message or DM or something like that on our social media. Let me know on Discord or something like that, and I'd love to meet up with you and say hi. And yeah, looking forward to that. There's not a whole lot of gaming content there's a little bit, not a whole lot of Nintendo stuff, but I'm excited to get in the rest of the nerddom that happens at those kind of events, and so it'd be exciting. So, well, we will be back on November 9th again, and yeah, we love talking games with you guys, and we hope to see you on the next live recording. But until then, happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.